Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us start today's live session. Welcome everyone in live session on design of steel structures. My name is Saurav Kumar Singh and I am doing PhD from Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Kharagpur. So first of all, I will be dealing with the doubts which I have taken from the discussion forum, in which some basic teachings will be required. So in first of the doubt, one of the student has asked that what is the difference between shear stress and direct stress in bolts when load lying perpendicular to the plane of bolted joint. And I have taken this picture from the slide which has been used during the live session, which student has marked. So let us see this picture. So there is a column and one bracket is connected to this column. This is attached with this column through the bolted joints. So when you will see it from this side, okay, so when you will see it from this side, then you will see it like this. So bolt will, you are able to see bolts like this. So now what I will do, let me open its PPT file. So when you are going to see from this side, then it will look like this. So a P load is acting on this bracket at an eccentricity of small e. So due to this P load, there will be shear stress generate in all of these bolts. Let's see, we are going to apply this P load here. So due to this direct load P, shear stress will generate in all of these bolts, means tendency of the bolt will be to cut from this plane. Okay, so at this plane shear stress will be generated in all of these bolts. 1 minute. Okay, so at what plane shear stress will generate? So shear stress will generate on this cross sectional area of the bolt, and you are aware, most of the students are aware of this thing. So on this plane, means on the cross sectional area of this bolt, shear stress will generate. Now due to when this P load is acting at an eccentricity of E, what will be the tendency of this bracket? This bracket will try to bend like this, isn't so? So this bracket will try to bend like this. So when it will try to bend like this, then in the upper fiber, means at this portion, tension will generate, and at the lower fiber compression will generate. So after that, what will happen? So upper portion of these bolts will be in the tension, will experience tension. Okay, so upper portion of these bolts will experience tension. Due to what? Due to this tendency of the bracket to bend, and lower portion of this bracket will experience compression. Means if you will see here, then there is a bearing between this column and this bracket section. So due to this bearing, most of the compression load will be taken by will be transferred through this bracket to this column directly through the bearing, but tension will be transferred from this bracket to this column section through these bolts. Means in compression zone, bolts will you can neglect these bolts during the taking this compressive load. So but for the tension zone, you have to consider tension in all of these bolts. So direct stress will generate in these bolts like this. and below this neutral axis, here line of rotation has been shown, so below this compression will generate. So these stresses which are generating due to the bending, so these are called direct stresses in these bolts, and the shear stress is because of the tendency of the bolts to cut down due to this action of the direct load. Let me admit a few students. Okay, so a student which has asked this question has joined this meeting. If you have joined this meeting, then please respond. So is this question, is this doubt clear to everyone? Please give response.
Sir, can you tell about when the HSFG bolts are used in this case? So what will be the depth of the neutral axis?
Why you are thinking that for the case of HSFG bolts neutral axis depth will change?
Sir, your voice was breaking. Please repeat.
I am asking that why you are thinking that because of the presence of HSFG bolt, if I am not going to use ordinary bolts, it will affect the location of the neutral axis.
Sir, one of the examples in SS Bhavikatti book, Design of Steel Structures, they have taken the neutral axis depth as the center of the connection. So that's why I was asking. I have also posted a question on the discussion forum right now.
Okay, right now. So please give me some time so that I can visit your question on the discussion forum, and if Mr. Anand Roop will not clear in his live session, then I will definitely clear it your doubt in my next live session. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So is this doubt clear now? What is the difference between shear stress and direct stress in bolts? So I will move further. One of the student has asked how to find size of weld when resultant shear stress and bending stress is given. Okay, so he has marked that video in which I am thinking that he want me to explain this numerical so that he will be able to solve the assignment problem, as he has mentioned that about week 4 assignment. So let us read this question. A bracket is subjected to a load of 50 kilonewton. So here a 50 kilonewton of load is acting on this bracket and is connected to a stanchion by welding. Okay, so here it is connected from the 3 sides by welding. Find the size of the weld so that the load can be carried safely. Okay, so here in the question size of the weld has been asked. So I think that from the video he might be confusing from how to calculate the CG of this welded part and how to calculate polar moment of inertia. So these things I will be discussing here so that assignment problem you will be able to solve. So here you can see that CG of the welded area can be calculated as so this is the complete welded area which is in the shape of a C section, means more or less you can say it is looking like channel section. So its length is 100, its here its length is 200, and again C to D its length is 100. So in order to calculate the CG, we have to first of all calculate the entire area of this weld. So entire area of the weld is denoted by capital A, and let us suppose this point is the CG. I will mark this point. So this blue dot is CG. So we have to calculate this distance from face BC. What is the distance X? So for this A into X means total entire this channel section, and CG of this entire channel section at this blue dot. Distance is denoted by capital X is equal to, we have to now individually take into account these small portions. Means if you can see here, then this is a small rectangle. So this let us suppose area of this rectangle, this welded portion is A1, area of this welded portion is A2, and area of this welded portion is A3, and respectively their center of gravity are x1, x2 and x3. Means center of gravity of this weld will be here, center of gravity of this weld will be here, and center of gravity of this weld will lie here. So here I have written Ax is equal to A1 x1 plus A2 x2 plus A3 x3. Now total area is equal to, we are taking throat thickness as a small t. So what is the length of this weld? 100. So 100 into throat thickness t is equal to line area. In my previous means week 3 live session, I have shown you that weld is assumed as line area. In one of the questions, in one of the query that has been asked on the discussion forum, from there I have tried to explain that how weld is considered as the line area and how we are analyzing the weld. So same thing has been done here. So this length is 100 and throat thickness is small t. Similarly here it is 200, length is 200 and throat thickness is t. So the area of that plane along which failure will happen is equal to 200 t. Similarly for CD 100 t. So on the right hand side here you can see that A1 x1. So what is A1? A1 is the area of this portion of the weld, yani 100 into t into CG means its distance, its lie from this face is 50. So that's why 50 plus 200 into t. Now what is here? So 200 is the length into t is the thickness of the throat thickness, and into t by 2, its CG will lie at the center point. So that is why t by 2, plus similarly for the CD portion 100 t is the area and its distance is 50, means its CG will lie at the distance 50. Total length is 100, so at center its CG will lie, that is at 50. So here we are going to neglect square or cubic terms. Why we are going to neglect these terms? Means from the calculation here you can see that 200 t into t by 2. So what will it will come 100 t square. So we are going to neglect this term. This term will not be considered. Why? Because we are considering weld is as a line area. We are from in our assumption we have assumed that we are going to treat this weld as a line area. So we are going to neglect the higher order terms. So when we are going to calculate this, when we are going to solve this, we are getting x is equal to 25 mm. Okay. So do you have any doubt? Anyone has any doubt in the calculation of center of gravity of this welded portion?
No, sir.
Okay, so let us move further. Now what we have to do, we have to calculate moment of inertia of this section about x-x axis and about y-y axis, so that we can calculate polar moment of inertia. So for the calculation of polar moment of inertia, we have to calculate moment of inertia about x-x axis. So please try to calculate moment of inertia about x-x axis. Please give it a try, and after that I will explain. Now see, actually what will happen, we have to follow the parallel axis theorem here. So while calculating the moment of inertia about x-x axis, we have to go for the parallel axis theorem. We have to follow the parallel axis theorem, and for that you have to keep in mind that higher order terms you have to neglect. Means t square t cube term, if you it will come in your calculation, then you have to neglect, because we are considering weld as a line area. So please give it a try, try to calculate Ixx and report me what you are getting. So here you can see that eccentricity of the load is 150 plus 100 minus 25 mm. Let us move to the previous slide. So this distance is given 150. So what will happen, this 50 kilonewton load will act at this position, at this location, means at this blue dot CG we can apply this 50 kilonewton load directly, and after that, due to this eccentricity, what will happen, this weld will experience torsion, means twisting moment. Okay, so what will be the tendency of this weld? Its tendency will be to like this, it will experience a load like this due to this applied load. So this distance is 150, this is 100. So what is the distance of CG from this load? 150 plus 100 minus 25 mm, which we have calculated here, CG of this welded portion. So minus 25 mm. Now, so sir has shown eccentricity of the weld as 225 mm. Now sir has calculated moment of inertia about x-axis axis. So first of all, for this part, I have to, for this part, for this rectangle, moment of inertia has been calculated, that is BD cube upon 12, means moment of inertia about this location, about its own center of gravity. If you are going to consider this rectangle, so moment of inertia of this rectangle about its own center of gravity is equal to BD cube upon 12. And after that, we are not interested in calculating at this point, we are interested in calculating at this position. So we are going to apply plus AH square term. So plus AH square term will come into picture here. After that, you have to write equation for both upper and lower rectangles. So when you are going to write equation for both upper and lower rectangles, and again you have to write plus AH square. So when you are going to expand that equation, then AH square term of this term will, you will get TQ part. So TQ part we have to neglect. Similarly in this part also you will get TQ part. So we are going to neglect this thing, means from the equation T cube will come. So from this part we are going to neglect it, we are not going to consider, and is this and in this part in AH square, H is equal to 0. So that's why this term is only remaining. Similarly, we are going to calculate moment of inertia about YY axis, and after going after getting all these values, we are going to calculate polar moment of inertia, which is equal to IXX plus IYY, which is coming 30.87. After that, we have already calculated, means we have already, during the calculation of center of gravity, we have already seen about the calculation of this area. Okay, so again it is written here. After that, maximum radial distance R. What will be the maximum radial distance R in this case? So let us suppose this is the CG of the weld. So its maximum distance R will be this distance, or you can say this distance. So we are going to calculate, means our calculation is basically based on this distance, because this is the critical portion. If my design is safe for this portion, then automatically it will be safe for the entire portion, because radial distance at other locations are less. So we so main motto of our designing is to, we have to take into picture at this point, okay, and we have to keep it safe. So radial distance R is calculated at as root over 75 square plus 100 square, which is coming 125 mm. This is 100, and this is again, this was 100 minus 25 is equal to 75. So our this length is this is 75, and up to from here this is 100. So this distance is calculated based on Pythagoras theorem, by applying Pythagoras theorem, root over 100 square plus 75 square. Now we have to calculate, actually see here moment is written, but more precisely we should write here twisting moment, because welt is experiencing torsion. Okay, so M is equal to 50 into 250 is the load, and this is the eccentricity, 225 is the value of the E which we have already calculated. So P into E upon 1000, 1000 is for changing mm to meter, so we are getting 11.25 kilonewton meter. After that, maximum shear stress due to bending, so here we are applying torsion formula, torsion equation. So stress we are writing it as M upon IP into R. So polar moment of inertia we have already calculated, R we have calculated, and here we have calculated M. So we will put all these values and we are getting like this. After that, direct shear stress. So direct shear stress, because of direct shear stress, T upon A, total area of the welt is 400 T. We have calculated it, so we are getting it like this. Cos theta is equal to base upon hypotenuse. So base is our 75 and hypotenuse is 125. That is value of R. This hypotenuse is R. So we are getting 0.6 as cos theta. So finally we are calculating resultant stress. So resultant stress is equal to PB square plus PS square plus 2 times PB PS cos theta. So this is the equation. We are putting all these values, and after that, putting all these values, what we are getting, we have to calculate, we have to compare this value, what the resultant stress will come into picture because of the external load. We have to compare it with the strength of the weld. So here the weld is fillet weld. So for the fillet weld, what we know, for the fillet weld, strength of weld is, actually fillet weld is governed by the what criteria? Yield criteria or what criteria? Rupture criteria. Please say, what will be the governing criteria for the fillet weld? Rupture or yielding?
Yield.
Why yield?
Because Fu by root 3 is there, the area shear is generated in the area.
Shear
stress is generated.
That is okay. Shear we are considering, because fillet, whatever the load fillet weld will experience, it will automatically transfer it through the shear only. That I am agree, but why you have reported Fy? Because we are not using here Fy. Shear is okay, we are dealing with the shear thing, but that shear in I have already told in my previous live session that we are using von Mises yield means failure criteria. So here we are using Fu upon root 3. Okay, so root 3 is coming from the von Mises criteria, that I have told in my live session, and this is the Fu value 410. So 410 upon root 3 into 1.25. so remember one thing, fillet weld is governed by its rupture, means it will break, obviously it will experience shear. So for the shear portion we have applied this root 3, but here you can see that it is the Fu value, ultimate value 410, so into 1.25. but when we are okay, groove weld, later we will see that thing. So here strength of the weld is 189.37 megapascal. So therefore we are equating all these terms, 539.88 upon T, and here we are calculating T is equal to, and we are getting T is equal to 2.85 mm. Now we have provided fillet weld, and we are assuming from the our side, if I have already told that if in the exam or in the assignments if anything is not given, then you are going to take that fillet weld is making the angle of 90 degree, and for the 90 degree we know that the value of K is 0.707. so T is equal to Ks, so S is equal to 4.03 mm. Hence we are providing 5 mm size of the welt for this question. Okay. Okay. So now coming to the this figure. So is this a student present who have asked this doubt in the discussion forum?
Yes, sir.
What is your name?
Shivam, sir.
Shivam. Okay. Okay, Shivam. So this is a very good question. You have asked very good question. So let us see. you have asked me to clarify this figure. So about this figure 19, what is written in clause 10.5.8.5 in IS 800, we are going to see. End fillet weld normal to the direction of force shall be of unequal size with a throat thickness not less than 0.5 t, where t is the thickness of the part as shown in figure 19. Okay, so are you able to see this picture clearly, or should I zoom it?
Yes, sir. We can see it clearly.
Okay, so see here, t is not the here t is not the throat thickness. Okay, what is t? T is the thickness of this plate. Okay, so here you can see that it is denoted from this arrow that t is the thickness of this plate. So it is talking about the end fillet weld. End fillet weld, what is end fillet weld? This is the end fillet weld. This portion is the end fillet weld. So this is the top view and this is the side view. So from here you can see that how this end fillet will look like. It will look like this. Okay, and from the previous lectures what we have studied means when we have calculated the value of K, that is 0.707 for 90 degree, then you have seen there that what we are considering. Let me draw a picture. So if this is throat thickness T, so we have to calculate this throat thickness. So this is S and this is S. So these are the size of the weld. So here we can see that these two faces of this triangle are equal, S and S, but here what it is saying, end fillet weld normal to the direction of force shall be of unequal size. You are not, you have you don't have to take it as equal, you have to provide different size. So here you can see that from this figure this length is B. Okay, so this length is B and this height is H. Okay, so there you can see that its length is different, and in what proportion its length should be different? H is to B is equal to 1 is to 2 or flatter, means either you will provide means B is equal to 2 times this H or even more than that. Okay, so this they are saying, and after that when you are going to provide it like this, you have to ensure that its throat thickness should not be less than 0.5 times thickness of this plate, this thickness up to this. So it should be less than 0.5 t. You have to ensure this thing. After that what it is saying, the difference in thickness of the welds shall be negotiated at a uniform slope. See here it is talking about end fillet, here it is side fillet. So for the end fillet, if you are going to provide some different thickness, throat thickness, and for this portion you are going to adopt some different throat thickness, so code is saying that directly don't give a steep jump, means after taking here like this and after this you are decreasing its throat thickness and you are following this straight line. No, don't do like this. You have to provide a uniform slope which has been shown here in this figure. So you have to provide this uniform slope so that a stress concentration will not take place at this position. Okay, so this code is expecting you to do for the end fillet weld. But see in our numerical problems you can say you can ask that why we are not doing in our numerical problems. See actually for the learning purpose what we are doing, we are simplifying our calculations. So for the simplification of the calculations we are taking all as the same. Okay, and we are providing same throat thickness all over the weld. Okay, so that is why. But if you are going to genuinely do this all these things for the fillet weld, then you should provide according to this codal provision. You should follow this codal provision. Now coming to the next doubt. Okay, so I have not asked. So is this thing clear to all of you
Sir.
about
Yes, sir.
this clause and explanation of this figure, that what is happening here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here you can see that this is the throat thickness. So here they have written also ki it should be, this throat thickness should be greater than or equal to 0.5 t. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
If B increases, it is but obvious that the throat thickness will decrease. So that's why we have to maintain this criteria of greater than 0.5 t.
yes,
I
yes,
think.
yes, because when you are going to flatter, so they have kept one restriction, how much flatter. Okay, so that's why it has been imposed.
Yes, sir.
Further, I want to give one more concept here. See, in our bolted connection or in welded connection, what we are assuming in our assumptions, we are assuming that every bolt will take equal stress, and every portion of the weld will experience equal stress. But see, in the practical case, we are taking all these things, it's fine. We are taking all these things to reduce our calculation, not going in much detail. Okay, but what will happen in the practical? In practical, when you are going to consider this cross section, so weld at this cross section, whatever stress it is experiencing because of this axial load, same will not be at this section. Okay, so there will be a slight difference at these two sections, but for our convenience we are taking that these are the same, means it is uniform. Now coming to the next doubt related to weld strength for groove weld, taken in lecture number 18. Okay, so in the lecture number 18, weld strength, actually when we are going to calculate this equivalent stress, okay, so when after the calculation of the equivalent stress, there is a restriction that it should be less than or equal to Fy upon gamma m naught. So you have asked me that why there is not root 3. So is root 3 is missing? No, actually root 3 is not missing. See, this is, we are talking about groove weld. And what is groove weld? When let me draw one diagram. This is the top view. Imagine it as the top view. Okay, so these are the two plates. Okay, so we have to make butt weld here. Okay, so for making the butt weld, sometimes we make groove in the plate, or here don't need to make the groove. So if suppose we are going to weld it like this, okay, so here you can see that welding has been done here. Okay, so this weld will act like a entire plate, means it is joining these two plates, and it is it will join with both the plates, so making it as a single unit, behave like a single unit. Okay, so here whatever will be the provision for the plate will be applied to this weld. So that's why you can see here the equivalent stress Fe when we are talking about this governing criteria. So for the groove weld or butt weld, both are same. So for this we are not taking Fu, we are taking Fy. Okay, so this is yield. So in the design of bolted connection or in the design of the welded connection, you have already seen in the bolted connection that plate is governed by yielding. Okay, until and unless if we are not making the holes in that plate, so we are dealing it as a gross area yielding. We are not saying that net section rupture. Okay, so we are saying that gross area yielding. So like that you have to, for the groove weld we have to consider Fy, because it is making two plate act as a single unit and it is behave like this plate only. And further when you are going to weld this thing, so strength of the weld will be equal to the strength of this plate, or strength of the weld will be slightly more than the strength of this plate. In any case, it should strength of the weld should not be less than the strength of this parent metal. So this is the parent metal which we are connecting here. So when we are talking about equivalent stress, when we are calculating this equivalent stress, so after that it is saying that Codal provision is as obtained from the following formula. Which formula? This formula. So when we are going to calculate equivalent stress from this formula, it should not exceed the values allowed for the parent metal. So what is the value for the parent metal? So parent metal is this. So for this we have already studied in the bolted connection, means it is governed by yielding criteria, so Fy upon gamma naught. So that is why root 3 is not present here, because in the governing criteria of the plate we are not considering that it will fail from the shear. We are taking it as the governing criteria as yielding, and so that's why we are only considering Fy upon gamma m naught. If you are talking about if let us suppose only your this groove weld is experiencing axial load, okay, so when it is experiencing axial load, then you have to restrict it, means your weld should provide this much strength, okay, so you should restrict it, means whatever stress you are getting, so it should be less than or equal to Fy upon gamma m naught. And if your weld is only experiencing shear, then it should be, for the groove weld, it should be is equal to Fy upon root 3 gamma naught, okay. So if you are going to only consider for the shear, other than shear nothing is acting, then you have to consider Fy upon root 3 for this groove welding. But if there is equivalent stress or only axial stress, then you have to calculate, you have to consider this Fy upon gamma naught, okay. So is there any doubt?
Yes, sir. But what is bearing strength, bearing stress in the groove welds?
See, actually what happened when we are doing welding now, means see, from our side we are trying to make each and every part welded, okay, but what will happen when we you will focus on the microscopic view, means on micro level, when you will see na, then you will see all these faces like this, okay. So like this some voids will remain, means voids only you will going to see when you are going to have a microscopic view. So when you are going to apply the axial force, so when you are going to apply the axial force, so it might happen that because of the compression it will, this plate will now try to get more in contact with another face, means at the two surfaces where voids will present or where there is a gap, so that gap will be filled because of that your compressive loading which you are going to apply, okay.
Yes, sir. But please clarify more about what is bearing stress.
See, when bearing, what is the difference between compressive stress and bearing stress? See, when you are considering only one plate, means and you are applying this compressive load, so on this section whatever stress will generate, it will be of compressive in nature, okay. This is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let us see another figure. Let us suppose there is one block resting on the ground, and you are applying one compressive load from here. So if you are going to consider this section, so in this section what will come? In this section compressive stress will come, okay, because it is the same block. But at this section, means at this contact position, bearing will come into picture. Why bearing will come into picture? Because bearing, we define bearing like that when two surfaces come in contact with each other and experience this compressive loading, then bearing will come into picture. Load will transfer from this block to this block through bearing. So that is what I am trying to explain here. In the case of the bolt, let us suppose if there is a hole and you are inserting the bolt here, so that in figure which I have used in the, I think in live session, I have shown there that if it is a bolt, then there is some space here between this plate and the bolt, and if you are going to apply this loading here, so due to this loading, this bolt will come in contact with, means after getting slip from this position, so it will come in contact with this surface. So when two different surfaces come in contact with each other, then because of this, bearing will generate at this face. Okay, after that, when you are going to consider for the weld, you are providing weld in this portion, means completely filling this entire thing. Okay, you are going to completely fill this entire thing, but because of the means, see, there will be some voids because we cannot do work on the microscopic level, so because of that there will be voids remain here. Okay, and after that, because of these voids, when you are going to apply the load, it will try to compress it, it will try to come in contact with each other, means some portion of this weld will not behave like it is attached with the plate, so it will transfer that load through bearing. So this is the bearing in that groove weld, so that's why we are considering bearing in this groove weld. In the case
Okay,
of
sir,
the
I got it. Sir, that means that in the whatever be the compressive stress, that will be the bearing stress in the welds.
no,
When
not entire. See, only when contact surfaces, when different contact surfaces will come in close to each other and there will be contact, then only bearing will be there. Means, see, for the ideal case, what is the ideal case? Means, let us suppose, let me explain through one more figure. Let us see, these are two surfaces. Okay, these are two different surfaces. So when you are going to have a microscopic look, so then you can see that it is not fully straight or fully smooth. You can observe this zigzag portion like things. Okay, and when you are going to observe this, it will also be like this zigzag, so it will not be in contact with. So when you are going to weld here or going to provide weld here, so what we assume, we are assuming that this is a smooth and this is a smooth. Okay, and there is gap between these two faces, so that we are allowing it to transfer the entire load through these welds. So we are designing these welds like that. The entire load will be transferred from this position to this position through these welds. But in actual case, what will happen, this not only this weld is taking the entire stress, this contact surface is also taking the stress, and because of bearing of these two surfaces, stress is transferring from this portion to this portion. Okay, so some portion of the stress is going to, some portion of this load is going to transfer from this portion to this portion through bearing also, but we are taking it as the smooth case, ideal case, and we are assuming there is a gap, and we are designing this fillet weld according to that. Okay, but in the groove weld case, we are considering this bearing portion also. So you cannot say that entire compressive load which is coming into here on this object, so it will be transferred through bearing only. So, is it okay?
yes, sir. So in the question, it will be given what is the value to be taken for the bearing
Yes,
stress.
sure. Because we are not see, actually what is the purpose of the course? Purpose of the course is to means make you clear about the design criteria, what is what we are using in the design of steel structures. That is the purpose. Okay, so This thing will be given in the question paper. If sir will ask this question in the exam, then it will be given.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, then there was some clause as well that check for the combination of stresses need not to be done for the side fillet weld joining cover plates and the flange plates, and where the sum of the normal and shear stress does not exceed
Okay.
FWP. And for butt welds
But
also.
weld also some of the clauses were given.
So these clause were please clarify more about these clauses as well.
Means what you want to know in these clauses, because when I have read these clause, then in what cases we have to not we should not consider this effect of this equivalent stress has been mentioned in that clause. So I didn't get your question that what actually you are expecting.
Means, sir, like when the cover plate and the flange plates are joined by the side fillet weld, I am not able to visualize it.
Okay. So let us make I section
Sir,
here.
how the stresses will come into picture in that case, and
See,
how we can
stresses will
make it.
depend on what is the type of the loading, how loading is acting. So on basis of that we have to see what type of loading is coming into picture, and according to that we are going to adopt all these things. So first of all, let us see this. See, these are two I sections. Okay, so these are the flanges of I section, and this is the web portion of the I section, and again these are the flanges of the I section. Okay, now if you want to connect it, because of the any reason if you are going to connect it with this, you are providing one cover plate here. Okay, and when you are going to weld it, when you are going to see it from the top, means from here, if when you are going to see it, what you will see? You will see flanges of I section like this. There is partition, means this is one I section and this is another I section. So both are you are seeing the top view from above, you are seeing this. So this is one of the flange, this is another flange. After that you are going to join it through one cover plate. So this is the cover plate, and let us say it is experiencing some load, whatever will be the load. So after that you have to weld it, means you are providing weld at this portion and this portion. So these are the side fillet welds. So this you have provided. So at these portions, when this situation will arise, means you are joining these two flanges with a cover plate and by these side fillet welds. So at this location it is saying that no need to calculate this equivalent stress. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So likewise, see, so actually see, in code book actually they are not writing each and everything in detail, that why they have restricted this thing or why they have restricting this thing. So most of the things are based on the practical values, means experimental values, which researchers are conducting, and after that having some rigorous research, some codal provisions will come into picture. So some of the things will be based on the fact, some of the things you will be get from the hit and trial method, means doing lot of experiment, you are seeing that same thing is coming again and again. It is not failing in any other plane, it is only failing in shear plane. So all these things, there are different reasons of writing different things in the adopting in the codal provisions. Okay, so because of all these things they are mentioning from the experience or from the practical analysis that it should be done or it should not be done. So like that they are following, but the thing is that for the most of the things they are not explaining that why they are doing this, why they are neglecting this, these things they don't provide. So that is the main issue. Now coming
Yes,
to
sir.
the another
And
doubt.
sir,
Yes, please.
sir, for the butt welds, this combination of stress is Fe is equals to Fa square plus 3Q square.
Okay, yes, I will come on, yes, I will come on that problem. I think you have mentioned that doubt, na?
Yes, sir.
So here it is said, I guess, doubt related to formula used for the calculation of resultant stress in fillet weld. Okay, so for the resultant stress in the calculation of the resultant stress in the fillet weld, at one of the slide, means in you can say lecture number 12, I think, yes, lecture number 12, yes, in lecture number 12 sir is using this formula, isn't so? In lecture number 12 sir is calculating equivalent stress.
Somebody else his question, that doubt was rising in my mind also. Somebody else had asked this question
Okay.
for the group held,
No, not for the groove weld. For the fillet weld, someone has asked that in lecture number 12, sir has used this question, and in lecture number 18, sir is using like it is like one second.
Yes, Fa square plus Q square.
Yes. Fa square plus Q square. So see, actually it is written by mistake. Actually at one place it might be possible that at the time of the preparation of those videos, the TA which were working at that time, so one mistake will happen, means one mistake had happened, that 3 has left from here, and after that everything will go on according to based on this formula only in that lecture. So sorry for this inconvenience. Please adopt this formula when you are considering, when your fillet weld is experiencing normal and shear stress. So please follow. 1 minute. Okay, so what I was saying, so for the calculation of the equivalent stress in fillet weld due to this normal and shear stress, please use this formula. See, let us discuss, make it more clear. Do you remember in my last live session I have discussed this example?
Yes, sir.
So in this example what we have seen that there is one load P which is acting here, okay, and with this there is one twisting moment T is acting here, okay. So this was the case. So because of this load P, what type of stresses will come into picture at this point, means what type of stresses weld will experience because of this P load alone. I am not talking about this twisting moment. Let us forget this twisting moment for the time being and only consider this that this P load is acting here. So because of this P load, what will happen to this weld? Please share your thoughts.
The direct load will come into picture that
okay.
will act as a shear stress.
Direct shear, because of this
Yes,
direct
sir.
load, direct shear stress will act here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it will act in vertically downward direction. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
can you able to visualize this plane? This is the plane,
Yes, sir.
and this direction is the perpendicular direction to this plane. Are you able to visualize this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so because of this load P, what will happen? This will act here, and due to this, what will happen in this weld? This weld will experience vertical shear stress in this direction. And what more will happen because of this load P? What more will come?
moment
Ha, okay,
generated
good,
field.
very nice. Because of this, moment will come into picture, and because of the moment, what will happen? Tendency of this pipe will be to bend like
To
this,
bend.
isn't so?
Yes, sir.
So it will try to bend here. So because of this bending, what will happen along this direction? Along, I am not talking about this plane. I am not talking about this plane. I am talking about a perpendicular direction to this plane. So that is along its normal direction. What will happen? Because of this bending, what will happen in above the neutral axis? Tension will come. Let us suppose this is neutral axis is passing at this location. So because of this, above neutral axis tension will generate, and below compression will come into picture. So these type of stresses which are coming due to bending is normal stress, okay, and this is vertical stress. Now consider this torsion. First let me ask you, this bending stress is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Bending, how bending stress is generating in the normal direction, is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now because of torsion, what will happen? Because of the torsion will try to rotate this weld like this, okay, so like this torsion will act here. So because of the torsion, again shear stress will come here in this weld. So now this time shear stress will come along this direction, so when you are going to apply clockwise torsion here, so because of this, like this stress will come into picture. So this stress, generation of stress due to this torsion is type of which stress? It is a type of shear stress, and because of this direct load, one more shear stress was generating along this direction. So these two are shear stress which are acting on this plane. So first of all, you have to calculate resultant stress because of these two stresses. These two stresses are on in the same plane. So what we are doing, we are directly putting, means let us suppose tell it as 1, this stress as 1, and this stress as 2, and this stress as 3. So because of this 1 and 2, these stresses 1 and 2 are acting in this plane only, same plane. So because of this, just we have to do vector summation like thing. So 1 square plus 2 square. So this is what we are doing for the calculation of shear stress. Resultant shear stress we are calculating from this formula. But when we are going to calculate the equivalent stress, means combination of all these three things. So for that case, what will we have to do? Because of this 1 and 2 is equal to, let us suppose this is resultant R, okay, and now you are going to calculate this equivalent stress. So equivalent stress when we are going to calculate, so okay, I cannot proceed more here. So here you can see that because of this shear stress, which I have been denoted from R. Let us denote it from Q, because you are familiar with Q. Don't denote it from R, denote it from Q. So because of this, what will come into picture? 3 Q square plus, again because of this bending, this 3, because of this bending, let us don't say it as 3, call it as your with familiar term FB, stress due to bending. So we are getting one term FB square. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now
Sir, I have a further doubt in this question. Sir, I want to ask, suppose a horizontal line is passing through this pipe at the section of the welds.
Horizontal pipe, please make me visualize.
Horizontal line is passing through the welds.
1 minute,
Means,
let me draw and tell me that whether you are talking about this thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Along this longitudinal direction.
Not along this longitudinal direction, but in the
Okay.
plane
Means Means you are
plate
saying me to
connected plate.
assume that let us suppose this is weld, okay,
Yes,
and you are saying me to assume an horizontal line here
yes, sir.
in this plane, okay.
Now my doubt is, sir, the direction of the shear stress in the weld at the 2 points of the horizontal line where it is meeting the weld, sir. The direction will be downward direction.
See, because of
Can you?
this vertical load which is acting here, okay, so because of this vertical load, so, see this weld, this circle which I am showing and denoting it as the weld, so this weld means it is of the infinite number of points, okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
at each and every point, due to this direct load P, it will experience a downward shear stress like this, okay.
Yes, sir. F will be downward, but the sign of the Q2 will be different at each and every point. So the maximum equivalent stress, the maximum resultant stress will be Fe plus Q2. Can't it be like that instead of Fa square plus Q2 square under root of that?
Okay, so means
At these 2 points, where the horizontal line meet the welds.
okay,
At that,
means you are saying that let us assume this is the CG, okay, this is
yes, sir.
CG na. So you are talking about that this is acting like this and torsion is acting like this. Due to this torsion, stress will come like this, okay.
At the point where the horizontal line is meeting the weld, that point, sir. So here, yeah,
Here at this point you are talking,
that point. Yes, sir. This point. This side, at this point, Fa will be downward and Q2 will be downward as well. So
Yes, yes.
the resultant will be Fa plus Q2. So the maximum value will be Fa plus Q2 instead of Fa square plus Q2 square under root of that. So don't we take this one?
Fa plus, okay, it will come like this. And because of this, this Q will also have downward, so resultant will be like this. 1 minute. Yes, your point is valid. I will discuss this thing with my another TA who is doing this TA with me in this course, and if with our discussion, if we are going to clarify your doubt, then I will clarify this doubt in our next live session, or else if you are not going to find out the solution that why it is taken like this, then we will try to contact with professor of this course, and if he will give me some time, then I will definitely discuss this thing and let you know. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. So Fa plus 3q square. So this thing is clear na, that in lecture number 18 it has been written by mistake, so you have to rectify that thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, here as well, next slide, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Here 3 into 193.6 is there. 3 has been also taken inside the square. It is wrong, sir.
Okay, okay, okay.
Sir, the value was round about 2, I think so. Means 3 or 5, S is equals to 5.
S is equal to
No, sir, it was 6. 6. S was equals to 6 after the calculation.
6. So you are saying that it will not come 6.4, it will be 6.
Yes, sir. If 3 is not taken inside the square.
Okay, okay. So when we are going to remove it from the square, then it will come 6. Okay. So earlier
sir.
TA who were doing this TA duty, they have calculated according to like this. So that is why there is some error. See, actually what is happening now means these videos have already been with NPTEL. Okay, so this is the problem, means when we are noticing that these are the mistakes, so there is a problem in editing these videos. So I will ask sir to provide one word file or one PDF in which all of these errors which has been typo error type things, so these things should be eliminated, or if there is some concept is necessary or should be written clearly, so we will try to include all those things, and we will ask sir to provide all of you with all these things. Okay.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Okay, but actually see, it will be more good when it will be implemented in the video. So when video will again run for the next session, so for the TA who will be doing this TA duty next year, or for the students who are learning, for both of them it will be easy to maintain these things, because
I think, sir, in the comment section, sir, the IIT Madras should add that, rectify those things.
that is the thing, means actually these things cannot be solved from means our end, means from the we are doing TA duty, and we cannot rectify all these things. You are attending this live session, you can see here na, means I should not say like this, but you can see here only 5 or 6 students among, means almost 3500 students have registered in this course, and only 6 students are joining this live session. And when you will see that these doubts which you are asking here, and we are preparing your doubts, it takes lot of time to prepare, and lot of means energy we have to effort we have to put here. So we are expecting that more students should come and learn all these things, but I am seeing that it is not happening. Most of the students, means almost every student is not interested in all these things. If everyone will go through these video lectures, means consciously they will see, then definitely these doubts will come, because these are present here na. So it should be means asked. One thing I was thinking that if you have put this doubt on discussion forum, that's why means again and again different students are not putting this doubt. So this is good, means same doubt should not be repeated by most of the students. This is good, but at the same time I am also checking that how many students are joining live session after this doubt has been put on the forum. So I am repeatedly seeing that 6 to 10 students are joining live session, so more maximum. So what is going on, I don't understand. No one is actually interested in learning the concepts. They just want to, whatever is provided, just mug up all those things and vomit all those things in exam. So this is not good. Anyway, what we can do. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I will try to involve all these things. Thank you for pointing it out. Okay. So means on the Sunday live session I have discussed doubts which I have seen on the discussion forum till date, and after that Mr. Anand Roop will take class on the Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. So he will be dealing with more doubts. If you are going to ask any further doubt, so he will be entertaining all those doubts, and after that he will deal with assignment questions. So if you will see now, means in assignment which he will deal means in his coming live session, when he will deal these assignments, so you will find in the earlier assignments also same mistakes has been done. Means see, assignments are mostly prepared from these lectures, video lectures, because it is the criteria that most of the questions should be asked from the assignment means the lectures which are running. Okay, so see, the TA which we are which joining these courses are they have also their own work, so they are not means taking all these things whatever they are seeing in this video sessions or like that, they are forming questions from there only. So same mistakes you can also expect in these things also. And further, in assignment, please check it seriously that whatever is the wording it is written in the question paper or in the assignment, please study those things properly. Means study question properly, that what is written. Don't only believe on the means directly seeing diagram and seeing that this is the this might be mistake or something like that. Please also consider that what is written in the question and try to grasp those things, because in order to solve the assignment you are getting time, and you have also available with these notes. You can open these notes, and after that you can solve these problems. So you can do it. And if you will feel if you feel some doubt or any error in the assignment, then you can tell us, you can share us, and we will look into the matter. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Because
Yes,
it
sir.
might happen that there will be some mistake from TA who are preparing these assignments, that some mistakes can present there. So if you are facing any doubt, then you can discuss with us. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
okay, so let us wrap this live session here, and thank you for your time, and thank you for joining and listening this live session. So
Thank you, sir.
okay, happy Janmashtami. You can leave now.
Same to you, sir.
Thank you so much.